We are well and truly into October now with some pretty groggy, miserable weather here in the UK. What can you do? Let's get into some gaming news. If you like this sort of thing, like, subscribe, hit notification. PS5 Pro game boost reconfirmed by Sony executive. Games with unlocked frame rate and or dynamic resolution will be automatically seeing some improvements. This one courtesy of PSU.com. So Toshimasa Aoki, product manager for PlayStation, has reconfirmed details on PS5 Pro game boost feature, which is known as Ultra Boost Mode, previously mentioned by lead architect Mark Cerny during the console's announcement just a few weeks ago. PS5 Pro Game Boost is able to vastly improve the performance of more than 8,500 backward-compatible PS4 and 5 games. Specifically, Aoki-san revealed that even if a title is not PS5 Pro enhanced, then Ultra Game Boost Mode can improve things providing the game has unlocked frame rate and resolution. Here's a quote: PS5 Pro has a function called Game Boost, even if it's not a PS5 Pro compatible version. If the game uses a variable refresh rate or variable resolution, it will be able to be displayed more stably, even if it's set to a high setting. However, in the case of games that are fixed at 30 FPS, it cannot be supported unless it is unlocked. And I take it games that have a fixed resolution as well. So if, let's say it's a native 1440p, they don't use anything dynamic there, then that won't have no effect when you put it on the PS5 Pro, because it's I'm assuming, it may be wrong here, but I'm assuming it works pretty much the same way if it's a fixed locked frame rate. So unless Sony is working some magic under the hood that allows it to apply PSSR, that's PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PISR as Digital Foundry likes to call it. Yeah, so maybe that works some magic and it can improve resolution. That remains to be seen, but this is looking good. I mean, 8,500 PS4 and PS5 games combined, you know, in some way, shape or form, running better on the PS5 Pro. Incidentally, the Asus ROG Ally X announced its launch price. Best Buy has it at I think $899 US, and I've seen no complaints about this price model for this portable 1080p device that runs all your Steam games. Yes, it is a mini computer PC, but nobody's buying it to do PC tasks. Otherwise, you just use your standard PC desktop or laptop. You're using it to play games. So, you know, I'm not comparing specs here. Obviously, it barely keeps up with an Xbox Series S, maybe surpasses it in some places. It probably does not surpass Xbox Series X or PS5, the vanilla model. So, damn sure not going to surpass PS5 Pro, but yet it costs much more. You see, the PS5 Pro is $699, that's $700, and this ROG Ally X is $899 US. That's $200 more. It probably doesn't come with a stand or a dock, whatever you want to call it. That's probably another $99 for that. So you're looking at a grand easy here for you know, a low-powered, you know, 8-hour battery, I don't know, 4-hour battery, depending on the game. 1080p, probably going to play at medium settings, low to medium settings. And, you know, they're not bemoaning the price on this handheld. Yet everyone's screaming and crying about PS5 Pro's $700 price. Now, people might say these two are not comparable. Well, if you look at it from the standpoint of just being somebody who likes to play games, whether on the go or docked, because I'm sure this Asus Ally X is going to, you know, dock to your monitor or whatever you're using. So yeah, in terms of games, they are comparable. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, that. I don't know why Sony PlayStation 5 Pro is getting a lot of flack, but other comparatively expensive items, as I say, nobody's saying a thing. It's crickets. Though in terms of PS5 Pro, I'm certainly looking forward to, as you can see from the footage, how this Ultra Game Boost mode affects games like Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, particularly in hotspots where the FPS really is under strain, like those built-up areas. I want to see if it extra frame boost, just like you see with Capcom's recently released Dragon's Dogma 2. It was running at 30 FPS, but running on PS5 Pro, they've managed to get it up to 50, 55, 57 in some places. That's quite a jump in frame rate there with the extra power technology, in spite of only a 10% uplift in CPU over the vanilla PS5. So I'm curious now, is it possible that we can get finally Cyberpunk 2077 to run at a flat 60? You know, perhaps they'll update it officially over there at CD Projekt Red, and we'll get, you know, a mode that's 60 FPS, closer to 4K with enhanced ray tracing. That would be nice. I'd also like to see Returnal's resolution. Returnal's resolution is 1080p boosted. I'd like to see that get a little touch. You know, obviously Gran Turismo 7, that's going to be an amazing thing with the in-game ray tracing. But certainly Control had struggled. It had a 30 FPS mode with ray tracing. Pretty much any game that had ray tracing but only had a quality mode at 30 FPS deserves an update on PS5 Pro. All of them, pretty much, because I'm just looking forward to even Final Fantasy 16 getting a sharper clarity and a 60 FPS mode closer to 4K. That would be absolutely delightful. Astrobot, there's just so many games, and I'm sure we're going to get these games upscaled with PSSR, added bells and whistles for PS5 Pro over time. You know, we've got the first, 50, 60 games already announced. More have been added, being added as time goes on. It's still not out until November 7 this year. So there's going to be a lot of games releasing, and you're going to see a lot of posts on X leading up to the holidays from different publishers who have updated their games. It's really going to be quite an exciting time to go replay those games. Those games that you have in your existing library, and of course the games that are going to be released in the future. Cannot wait. Sound off in the comments. But yeah, here's some interesting news that I thought we'd comment on before we close the video. This one, I'm not sure how reliable it is because it comes by way of metro.co.uk. All links available in this video's description. The headline reads, "Xbox is just a disaster," says Blizzard and Bethesda insider. So yeah, the most respected video games insider in the business has described Xbox as a mess, complaining that they, meaning Microsoft, change their minds every month. The last 2 years has not shown either PlayStation or Xbox at their very best, with disappointingly far fewer first-party releases and very mixed messages about the future. Sony's obsession with live service games has thus far been a disaster, while Xbox's purchase of Activision Blizzard seems to have done more harm than good, with considerable more confusion as to their multi-plat or multi-format plans. That they've also often been seemingly clueless about what to do about the rising cost of making video games, an issue that seems to have taken both of them completely by surprise. But for the sake of the industry, most people would like to think they at least have some semblance of a plan going forward. According to Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier, though that's not necessarily the case, as he gave a very frank summary of the current state of Xbox. And I quote, "They're just a disaster over there. It's really sad." Schreier was taking part in a 6-person podcast when the discussion moved to Xbox appearance at the recent Tokyo Game Show, which in my opinion went by with a whimper. All they really showed of any interest to me was the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, which is a multi-platform game, and some insiders had hyped this event as being significant, but in the end it only featured minor announcements. And I quote, "Xbox is such a mess right now, I feel like their plan is changing every single year," said Schreier. Right now they're talking about teasing handhelds over and over again, but who knows? A year ago they were saying Indiana Jones was never coming to PlayStation, so like they change their minds every month. They're just a disaster over there. It's really sad. Although it's unclear to what degree Schreier is relying on insider knowledge when he says this, his track record in the industry is almost spotless. He had particular knowledge about Xbox-owned publishers such as Bethesda and Blizzard, the latter of which is subject of this new book called Play Nice: The Rise, Fall and Future of Blizzard Entertainment. But what is Xbox's next-gen console? Well, the unfortunate truth, though, is that you don't need any insider knowledge to come to the conclusions that Schreier has about Xbox's constantly changing priorities and mixed messages over the moldy format releases. Schreier implies that even Xbox's next-gen plans, which have been heavily implied to involve a handheld device, may be subject to change. The same podcast also discussed Sony's latest live service plans and how they've managed to, over the same period of time, painting both console manufacturers in a similar light. Since Xbox's Tokyo Game Show presence didn't amount to much, it's unclear whether they'll have another preview event before the holiday, although it's very likely they'll be involved with the Game Awards in December, at least to some degree. This is quite interesting stuff, isn't it? A mess. They don't know what they're doing. They're absolutely lost, according to Jason Schreier over there at Bloomberg. Wow, what can you say? I mean, at the end of the day, Xbox has had to pivot so many times. You know, they failed in the hardware race. They're failing in the software race. When I say failing, not abject failure, I'm talking comparatively to the likes of Nintendo and PlayStation. Even though PlayStation is having problems shifting units as well in terms of certain game releases. But yeah, you know, if you look at the whole sphere, the bigger picture, and you take account for all three of the big console manufacturers, Xbox is probably doing the worst. Some might point to Game Pass and say they're making oodles of money over there. But yeah, the perception is, though, Xbox is a bit lost at sea at the moment. I don't know what they need, whether it's new leadership, something, because they've had the same gang. I mean, they brought Sarah Bond on board a few years ago, but, you know, up until then, they've had the same people for almost forever. Actually, since the end of the Xbox 360 generation, they pretty much had the same people in charge over there. Whereas you look at Sony, having changed lots of their CEO presidents over time, new blood, fresh ideas. Maybe Microsoft needs to look in that avenue, that aspect of leadership in running the Xbox division. I'm not knocking Phil Spencer here or Sarah Bond, but something just isn't working. And it's true, Tokyo Game Show went by and just, by the end of the day, I was clueless about what happened. Yeah, I saw the Metal Gear Delta, Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake trailer, and a couple of games were going into Game Pass, but that was pretty much it. Nothing amazing, nothing major happening over at Tokyo Game Show. They may as well not have even been there, because those announcements, they could have just put a trailer up on YouTube, social media accounts, and posted something on X. You know, we're happy to, show some new gameplay of this Hideo Kojima remastered remake game. But what can you say? But yeah, sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think about today's news. And like, subscribe, hit notification. Until next time, play games, not corporations.